Thank you for such an awesome 2023. This video is the best speaker of 2023, the best amps of 2023, the best DACs of 2023, all together with no sponsors, with no intros. So if you've seen all these videos, well, you don't have to watch them again. However, if you're cleaning up after Christmas or your holiday festivities and you want something in the background that reminds you of me because it is me, then maybe turn this on and watch the whole thing. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the best products of 2023. If you are just getting into hi-fi, a DAC is a digital to analog converter. With the ubiquity, is that the right way to say it? With the ubiquitous nature of digital music from streaming services, from your Apple 4K TV, from your smart television, from your computer, one of the easiest and quickest ways to get awesome, better fidelity is through buying a high-quality digital to analog converter, or a DAC. The good news is you don't have to spend a ton of money to get a significant improvement on the quality of your digital music. So if you're just starting out in this hobby, I would highly recommend getting yourself a new DAC, because even to the uninitiated, they'll be able to tell the difference in the sound quality. The award for the budget DAC of the year goes to, probably no surprise here, the SMSL SU1. This is a tiny little 5-volt DAC, which means you can plug a USB-C right into a 5-volt charger that you would probably have laying around for your cell phones. This is an amazing little device. It comes in around $80. That's retail. Sometimes it goes on sale for $70. Has an AKM 4493 chip inside and is absolutely wonderful. I use this all of the time. Very straightforward operation. There is no remote control, no nothing. One button on the front changes the inputs. What inputs are on here? Well, I'm glad you asked. You have a USB-C, an optical SPDIF, and a coaxial SPDIF. So you can run 3 different digital devices off of this little box. Sound quality is clean, dynamic, large soundstage. It's really crazy just how good the SU1 is. And for $80, this thing, the SU1, punches way above its price point. Sounds better than DACs 10,000 times more expensive. Just kidding. Honestly though, you probably need to step up to the Gishelli Labs J2 AK4493 version to beat this thing. And that's about 250 bucks. Taking a bit of a step up in price, but getting a whole bunch of features, is the SMSL, another SMSL product, M300 SE. This is a DAC and a headphone amplifier, and instead of using an AKM chipset, it's using a Cirrus Logic chipset, which actually has an op amp in the DAC chip itself. It's all one unit. So not only do you get a great sounding DAC, but you also get a very capable headphone amplifier, all for the low price of about $130, and this thing will go on sale for around $116 too. It's got 2 CS43 131 chips inside. On the back you have XLR outputs to go to an amplifier that has XLR inputs, and you can use this as a preamp of sorts, a digital preamp. Also has a 3.5 millimeter RCA output, so if you're putting it into something that has regular RCA connections, you'll have to get a 3.5 to RCA cable to hook it up to your regular stereo. But I see this little product as being something that people can take with them, take to work, maybe stick it in the corner of their living room, and have a very good DAC and a decent headphone amplifier. And for $130, it's an absolute bargain. The slightly more expensive, but yet still very affordable DAC / headphone amp of the year goes to the SMSL DL200. I actually just gave this away to my friend yesterday for helping me put up a television and an accent wall above my fireplace. Anyway, the DL200 uses a Sabre ES9039 Q2M DAC chip. Has a 6.35 millimeter single-ended output for your headphones on the front, as well as a 4.4 Pentacon output on the front. On the back, it has regular RCA outputs and balanced TRS outputs. Has a Bluetooth input, has a coaxial input, has an optical input, has a USB-C input. All the inputs, but most importantly for me, it sounds awesome. The form factor is awesome. This is a product that if you would have told me it was $350 or $400, I would have believed you had I not known the price. At $190, another great small form factor DAC/headphone amplifier that the only thing that you need to do is add a streamer, a Weem Mini or something like that. Technically, you don't really have to add anything considering it has Bluetooth. Ugh. But this is something that could go under a television, next to your work computer, a variety of things. And for less than $200, again, I think this DAC is picking fights with products that are double or even triple the retail price. It's so easy to say that, and everybody says, oh, great. Like, that's the easiest thing to say in reviews or in like written reviews. I always love seeing that. Oh, this sounds as good as a DAC 2 or 3 times the price. Really? Do all DACs sound the same that are 2 times the price or 3 times the price? Anyway, I get a kick out of that. Switching gears to streamers. So this is a streamer that has a good DAC in it, and sometimes even has an analog input in it. No surprise here. The streamer/DAC of the year goes to the Weem Pro Plus. Has an AKM 4493 DAC inside it, so a bit of a better DAC, or a lot of a better DAC, than the Weem Pro. Also comes with a remote control. Also has an analog input on the back. So this can be a real preamp. You can actually put in a phono preamp or any other analog input that you want into the analog input. Has digital input, so it really is a DAC. And oh, by the way, it's only about $200, and it just so happens to have the best streaming platform available right now. Tidal Connect, Spotify Connect, AirPlay 2, Chromecast, Rune Ready, streaming platform that has everything. You can pick up network attached music. The Weem Pro Plus is mind-boggling. And you don't need to get it if you already have a decent DAC. You can get the Weem Pro, and it pretty much does all the same thing, except it doesn't have the 4493 DAC inside. That comes in about $150. So it's the overall streamer/DAC/preamp of the year is the Weem Pro Plus. Absolute bananas value for money on this product. This is somewhat of an honorable mention. There's going to be 2 products for honorable mentions. One of them is actually going to be this. This is the FIO R7. Now, it does have a headphone amplifier inside. It also has a very capable DAC. It has all sorts of stuff. The one thing that holds this back, in my opinion, is the headphone amplifier. But for $600 for the asking price, you get a ton of stuff on here. It has a streamer inside. It's based on the Google Android platform, so you can actually download different apps, like Apple Music. So while this product isn't perfect, it deserves a mention here at the end of the year because it is just so versatile. The other product that deserves a bit of an honorable mention is the Eversolo DMP A6. Similar to this, but no headphone amplifier, and the DMP A6 is really probably more at home on a stereo rack versus next to your computer or something like that. But the DMP A6 comes with a Sabre 9038 Q2M. Very good DAC chip. You're going to hear about that DAC chip a few times in this list. And on the back, you have a cacophony of inputs and outputs. Optical in, USB-C in, optical out, coaxial in, Bluetooth in, HDMI out, balanced outputs, and single-ended outputs. This is expensive. It's $860, but it's a bit of a darling. Everybody loves this thing. I think it's good. I think it can be beaten sonically by putting together a few less expensive pieces. But if you're after convenience all in one and something that can play Apple Music, Room Ready, all that good stuff. And it has album art, so it has a display. The Eversolo DMP A6 is a crazy, awesome product. Doesn't win any awards here, but it does deserve an honorable mention. The traditional size component DAC slash preamp goes to the Emotiva XDA3. This product comes in at $700 and has some very interesting inputs as well. HDMI, ARC, 2 optical in, 2 coaxial ins, 1 full-size USB in, balanced outputs, differential outputs, so you can hook this up to an Emotiva differential amplifier and have an incredible 2-channel or even 2.1 channel system and be able to cover all your input and output options. The DAC inside is, guess what? The 9038 Q2M DAC chip, just like on the Eversolo. This product also has a headphone output on it. This is kind of a jack of all trades, but the one thing that differentiates this product over a lot of other products is an RCA input. 2 of them. You have a balanced input and a single-ended input. So this really is a preamp of sorts. Ton of functionality, traditional component size. This thing can scale because you can put it on differential amplifiers and can handle a ton of inputs. Does have an RCA output, so you could run that to a subwoofer if you wanted to. The XDA3, traditional DAC size component slash preamp slash awesomeness of the year. The 2023 What the Heck Is This DAC Award goes to the Schkit Sin. The Schkit Sin is somewhat of a Frankenstein's monster when it comes to hi-fi componentry. It's a DAC. It's also a multi-channel decoder. It's also a headphone amplifier. So it has an optical input and a USB-C input. Subwoofer output, 5 speaker outputs. So you're going to need multiple amplifiers with this, or an amplifier that is multi-channel to handle all of the outputs of the Schkit Sin. This is a fun product. Sonically, it can be bested by other DACs at a lower cost, but it doesn't do everything that the Sin does. It's a remarkable little product, a very fun product, and if you are into multi-channel listening and you don't have a ton of room, or you just want something that's not so complicated, then take a look at the Schkit Sin. Comes in around $400, I think, and is a very fun, very unique product that doesn't have any competition. Another honorable mention here is not going to win the DAC of the Year award, but I just did this review. It's the Ayune, whatever, S9C reference DAC headphone amplifier. Super solidly built, sounds amazing, huge headphone amplifier inside from a power perspective, linear power supply, very heavy duty, wonderfully built. A little bit pricey though. Comes in around, I think, $600, maybe $700. Ton of inputs, ton of outputs, clocking inputs, a little bit of a more audiophile-y DAC. Absolutely amazing. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. And, drumroll please, the DAC of the Year for 2023 is shocker, the Gishelli Labs J2, the AKM 4499 version with the Sparkos op amps upgrade. Fully kitted out or fully spec'd out, this comes in around $700 if you get it in wood. If you get it in aluminum, it's $666, I think, which is kind of funny. However, if you're only running single-ended, you don't have to upgrade all of the op amps. You only have to upgrade one. This DAC simply sounds amazing. With the Sparkos op amp upgrades, it gives it a huge, immersive, addictive soundstage that gives a level of reality to the music that I haven't heard on any other products that I've tested. Dynamic bass control, openness, space, organic vocals, organic acoustic instruments. It just doesn't get any better than this. Even on headphones, you can hear an awesome improvement in the soundstage. You may not like the looks, you may not like the interface. There's no volume control, it's just push buttons with some LEDs, but there's no arguing that the Gishelli Labs J2, the AKM 4499 version with the Sparkles op amp upgrade, is anything other than perfect sonically. So that's it. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. So the amp of the year is just not amps of the year, because that would be pretty boring, because most people don't even know what a power amp is. Amp of the year is going to be anything that you hook up speakers to. Some of them may have internal DACs. Some of them may have internal phono preamps. Some of them may have streamers. Anything that you hook up a speaker to, we're going to talk about today, and what I think is the best products that I've heard this year. By the way, thank you so much for watching, and please have a safe, happy holiday season. Love each other. Be nice. And the winner for affordable all-in-one little amplifier goes to Yaima T9 Pro.
Winner!
Yay! The Yaima T9, I think, won it the year before, 2 years before. Anyway, this is a great, awesome value. You get a fully functioning DAC inside, enough power to drive most speakers, and tubes. Just kidding, I don't really like tubes, but it comes with tubes if you want to use them and roll them. As Bluetooth, USB, coaxial, optical in, RCA in. I would show it to you right now if I hadn't given it away. I've been cleaning out the Cheap Audio Man cache of hi-fi equipment, sending it out to needy people all over the world. Anyway, it's great. Even comes with a remote control. So it's $150, 10% off coupon on Amazon right now. So that puts it at $135. Actually, it says on Amazon, frequently returned item. I don't know if that's any good. Let's try this again. And the winner for the all-in-one affordable amplifier goes to SMSL AL200.
Winner!
Yay! This has an Infineon chip, which just sounds amazing. It's got some baked-in EQs as well. Optical in, USB in, coaxial in, RCA in. The DAC has MQA decoding made out of aluminum. I would show this one to you too, but I also gave this one away. Built really well, significantly better than the Yaima T9. Cool little form factor, sleek even. And best of all, no tubes on the top. It says it puts out 165 watts of power. I just assume it puts out 40 or 50 watts. Comes with a remote control and a headphone amp. Super solid, $233. Switching it up a little bit, the amp of the year for the more expensive all-in-one integrated goes to, I know you can't see it right here, the wonderful Rotel A11 Mark II.
Winner!
Yay! Comes with a DAC, comes with one of the best sounding phono stages that I've ever heard in an integrated amp. This phono stage is so good that I would probably get rid of my reference 2-box S2 because you don't need it anymore. This is a $500 phono stage. The A11 Mark II I think comes in around $700 or $800. It's like getting a really good amp and DAC for $300. Very conservatively rated at 50 watts times 2 into 8 ohms. I talked to him, I think it puts out 60 watts times 2 into 4 ohms, but those are very conservative numbers. These will get most speakers rocking and rolling as loud as you could possibly stand it. Class AB amplification comes with Bluetooth, if you really want to use that. You got 4 RCA inputs, 1 optical, 1 coaxial, so you can take a Weem Pro, connect it right into the A11 Mark II, and have great streaming for $150. Now you have an all-in-one package for less than $1,000. Also has a headphone output. Kind of old school meets new school. Now, if you don't want the DAC, they do have the A10 Mark II, and that comes in at $200 cheaper. Basically the same thing without the DAC. So if you already have a killer DAC, check out the A10 Mark II. Super clean sounding, big soundstage, Amazing product. I can't recommend it enough. I love the Rotel A11 Mark II. The affordable versatile amp of the year. You guessed it. I just did a review on it yesterday. Fozzy Audio ZA3.
Winner!
Amazing, versatile little product. Has balanced inputs on the back, RCA inputs. You can run this in mono, which means you get more power. So you can buy one of these, save up some money, buy another one later. Now you have 2 mono amplifiers. Tons of power, even in stereo mode. You can get a 32 volt or a 48 amp volts, 5 amp, sorry, power supply. Boost up the power. But we're also going to give an honorable mention to the IEMA A07 Max. This is a smaller amplifier. Does pretty much the same thing. Same amp chip inside, which is the Texas Instruments 3255. Short on space, get the IEMA A07 Max. I do think the Fozzy Audio sounds better, but I haven't heard the A07 Max running in mono with 2 of them going at the same time. Both very affordable. I think the ZA3 comes in around $150. A07 Max comes in a little bit less, but guess what? They're both kind of sold out on Amazon right now because they're so popular. Actually, the A07 Max is back in stock on Amazon for $91.99. And it's got a 10% off coupon, so it's like 80 something dollars. They also both have swappable op amps, which means you can upgrade the sound to your taste. They're built on the backs of American, Japanese, and German components. And if anybody thinks these are crap and you put it in the comments, please give an alternative at the same price, maybe even 25, 35% more. I'm all ears. I want to hear. Don't just say this is crap. Contribute to the community and tell us what we should buy instead. And the amplifier of the year is the Weem amp.
Winner!
Yeah!
Absolutely amazing. $300. Beautiful. Aluminum. Construction. On the back, you have an optical input, a coaxial input, a subwoofer output with high and low pass filtration, so bass management inside the amp. If you don't know about the Weem streaming platform, it's amazing, and it's really disrupted that huge hi-fi streaming industry. In all seriousness, though, this uses the Texas Instruments 3255 amp chipset as an internal power supply, so you don't have to worry about big power supply bricks that you put on something like a printer and your lights dim when you go print out something. Also has HDMI ARC, so this thing you can put right next to your TV, put 2 speakers and a sub on it. You got a great 2.1 channel system. You have all the streaming you want. Honestly, there's an entire video just dedicated to Weem products that you have to check out because this platform is amazing. Frankly, it's like getting a free amplifier with bass management because even if it was a streamer, $299 is worth the price of admission alone. The amount of stuff this thing can do and how well it does it is simply amazing at $299. Other competitors can't even touch it at twice the price, and they don't have the Weem platform. So that's it. If I missed something, put it in the comments, please. Is there a product that I left out? Let me know. I'm not perfect. I don't do a lot of research for these videos. Congratulations to all the winners in the illustrious Cheap Audio Man Amplifier Awards for 2023. There will be no trophies, no seals of approval sent out, just this video. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, why not? Subscribe to the Cheap Audio Man channel and give this video a like if you found it at all informative, entertaining, or valuable. I hope everybody has a great holiday. Please be safe out there, and please be grateful for everything you have, because if you're watching this video, chances are you have extra money to spend on hi-fi equipment and your own enjoyment. There are other people out there that are much less fortunate than we are, so we should be grateful. The winner of the Speaker of the Year under $200 is the Numi Silk 4. It's a little speaker, 4-inch woofer, 1-inch soft dome tweeter, built really, really well. It has a very nice finish. Right now it's $149. When it first came out, I think it was $190. So $149 is the exact same price as the Mica RB42s, which is a very well-respected speaker. Numi Silk 4s, though, a little bit easier to drive. I think they both have a very neutral sound signature. And I don't talk about this speaker enough, but when I was going back and looking at all the speakers that I reviewed this year, there weren't a ton under $200, and luckily this one sounds awesome. With a subwoofer, this could be a perfect desktop system. These could be rear surrounds, these could be height speakers, these could be Dolby Atmos speakers if you angled them up at your ceiling. Very versatile speaker, well built, and there's only one left in stock. We didn't have a ton of speakers under $500 that came in this year. However, there were a few notables. Coming in at $419 a pair is the Hiko Aurora. And for me, they were the best speaker under $500 that I listened to this year. And these awards are going to be limited to speakers I actually heard this year. So they may not be brand new speakers, but they came through my doors this year. Two-way speaker with a high sensitivity. 90 dB sensitive, and that's usually uncommon for a speaker of this price and this size. 170 millimeter woofer, which equates to about 6.79 inches, and a 1-inch soft dome tweeter. Very low frequency response on the bottom end from 32 up to 45,000 hertz on top, and is probably the most attractive speaker I've ever reviewed under $500. The build quality is outstanding. The one thing about this speaker that is the standout, in my opinion, is how big it plays and how hard it hits. And it doesn't sacrifice bass power for mid-range clarity. I do think there's a bit of a scoop out in the mid-range, in the lower mid-range, and then the upper mid-range comes a little bit forward. Top end is a little bit rolled off in my opinion, and even though that might not be my first choice for a speaker's tonality, you can't deny just how good this speaker is. With a little bit of EQ, I got this speaker sounding exactly how I wanted it to sound. Out of the box, it may sound exactly how you want it to sound. A little bit warmer in the lower mids, a little bit forward in the upper mids, and a relaxed top end. And it's super efficient, so if you don't have a ton of power on tap, this speaker is still going to play wonderfully. Great value. If you're interested in a high value speaker, check out this entire line. Really impressed. That's why the Aurora 300 wins the speaker of the year under $500. The speaker of the year under $1,000, probably no surprise here if you've watched the channel at all, is the Q Acoustics 5020. I was absolutely amazed at just how good these speakers are. To me, I like these speakers sonically better than the more expensive Concept 30s, which come in at $1,300 a pair. 5020s come in at $900 a pair, and if you're in the UK, they're even cheaper. 87.9 dB sensitive, so not super hard to drive. 1-inch tweeter that's hermetically sealed and also isolated from the enclosure. This speaker has a lot of stuff going on, and Q Acoustics, one of their kind of reoccurring themes when it comes to design and building a speaker is to keep everything as isolated as it can be. Reduce resonances, and you can really hear it because instruments are separated out. The surprising thing for me with the 5020 was just how dynamic this speaker is. Compared to the 3020i's, compared to the Concept 30s, compared to their powered or active speaker, I think the 5020 more dynamic, punchier, more exciting in the mid-range. And because it's more exciting, because I feel like it's not adhering to that kind of flat forward mid-range tonality, it's just a fun speaker. But this one has more richness, more personality in the lower mids than some of the other speakers that kind of just give you just the facts. This one's just funner, in my opinion. Sound great, look great. The floor standers are awesome too. They are amazing, and I couldn't recommend this speaker more. How cool is it that I got to review a speaker that is on heavy discount, and that speaker, well, Luckily, it sounded really, really good. That speaker is the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4, a floor standing speaker that's coming in at $750 per pair, that are huge, that are built great, and that sound awesome. Original price on these speakers was $1,300 a pair. So because they're on sale, they are now the speaker of the year, floor standing speaker of the year, under $1,000. 6.5 inch bass driver, 6.5 inch mid-range driver, 1 inch textile dome tweeter, 88 dB sensitive, frequency response 40 up to 20,000 hertz, 50 pounds a piece. Some Wharfedale speakers in the past have a really rich, almost warm sensibility to them. These, not so much. This just sounds like a very solid, dynamic, fun, neutral speaker with extension. The Diamond 11 series was super warm, but it was cool because it leaned into that warmth. The 12.2 is very neutral, but you get the 12.4s in there, now you're getting a ton of dynamics. And at $750, this is an absolute steal for these speakers. Under $1,500. The speaker of the year is not just the speaker of the year. It's a whole bunch of stuff of the year. It is the Klipsch 9s. One of the biggest surprise I've had with a product this year was with the Klipsch 9s. And the 7. Retail price on the 9s is $14.99. But what you're getting here is basically a Klipsch Heritage speaker. Huge speaker. It is so much fun. So it's a powered speaker, has a phono preamp, has HDMI ARC in it, has an app, 3-band EQ in the app, Bluetooth, all the stuff, designed beautifully, and just a very fun speaker. Other speakers are going to be able to beat it in mid-range clarity. Other speakers are going to be able to beat it in bass speed and bass clarity. But no other speaker can beat it at its price for the fun factor. If I could only have one setup, limited space, limited budget, it would be the Klipsch 9s. So much fun, huge value, and a lot of times they're on sale. A lot of times you can find this speaker for $1,200, $1,300. Amazing value for money because you're not having to buy an amplifier. Technically, you don't have to buy a DAC either, or a phono stage. Bonkers. Amazing product. And it's got that vintage vibe. Love it. Speaker of the year under $2,000 is the PMC Prodigy 1. What an awesome surprise. Transmission line bookshelf speaker. So much fun, super dynamic, really awesome, exciting top end. I love this speaker. Love it. It's coming in around $1,700. The distribution in the US is, you gotta kind of dig for it. I'll put links to places that you can buy it in the US. Smaller compact package, but because of that transmission line, you're getting a ton of bass out of this thing. Clean bass, fun bass. Even though it rolls off at 50 hertz on the bottom, still super punchy, super fun, super clean bass too. Clean mid-range, awesome top end. 87.5 dB sensitive, so most of the speakers on today's list are actually not super hard to drive. They're not all easy to drive, and all of these are going to benefit from a little bit of extra juice. But usually to get this much bass punch out of a speaker, you're looking at a sensitivity of like 85 dB. These 87.5. 5.25 inch woofer and 1 inch soft dome tweeter. Don't let the 5.25 inch woofer fool you. It punches like a 6.5 inch woofer because of that transmission line. Really good speaker. And the best speaker over $2,000 just by a hair is the Arundel 1723 Monitor S. Just blown away by the speaker. I just did the review like yesterday. So if you want to check out that full review, click at the end of the video. Maybe I'll put a card right here. Blown away with this speaker. I literally have not one negative thing to say about this speaker. It's amazing. Perfect mid-range, perfect bass, very versatile, somewhat sensitive. It's just a triumph. It's a perfect speaker. And since it is $2,049, it's not like it's $5,000, it's not like it's $10,000. So this speaker, to me, really is probably the first perfect speaker. The cool thing about this speaker coming in at $2,000 is now that my price is kind of eking up, I'm listening to more and more expensive things. There's probably going to be a lot of other speakers that I haven't heard that are within the $1,000 to $2,000 price range that are probably going to be fantastic. But as it sits right now, the Arundels are the best speaker that I've heard over $2,000. Yes, you have the Klipsch Cornwall 3s, previous generation, which are amazing, right? So that's probably the best speaker above $3,000 is a Klipsch Cornwall. Okay, yay! Klipsch Cornwall 3s made the list. Okay, yes, but for a new speaker that I've had in my house on my electronics in my room with my music, Arundel's, so good. So good, in fact, that I emailed them last night saying, can I buy these? So the Arundel 1723 Monitor S are going to be staying permanently in my house. So that's it. What did I miss? Oh, also the Buchard P300s, getting an honorable mention. I don't think they're, my preference personally, I like the Prodigy ones better than the P300s, but the P300s are great. And I actually think the P300s are better than S400 Mark IIs from Buchard. I thought the Prodigy ones were better. So what did I miss? Put it in the comments what you think I missed, what I should have talked about. Again, only speakers that I've heard this year. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, just nail that subscribe button. Give this video a like.